Grr, arg.
I shrug again. Over the snow-gilded mountains, I know there are kingdoms without number, pastoral and beautiful, each ruled by another prince or king, another czar and his court of calm-eyed lackeys, another man like my husband, beautiful and terrible and cocksure in the magic he'd thieved from his bride. There, I could go there, perhaps. Find another sovereign who'd fish a mute from the waters, who'd marry her, bed her, murder her sisters for a superstition, and then pry the teeth from her gums for the sake of caution. I could find one of those again, maybe, and wait until my daughters come to gnaw his country down to its bones. As though conscious of my musings, the plague doctor nods, their voice hollowed by the fluted bone. Even after all this time, I cannot tell whether they are male, female, neither, both, some gradient wicking between definitions. And you shall know her by the trail of dead. A harpy phrase. I smile at the music of it. How do you feel about company? Death, destruction, grotesque descriptions of entrails, guts, gore. Immediately from the get-go, kingdoms are slurped down to their bones, entire populations consumed and destroyed. Are you into horror? Like gross horror? Then the salt grows heavy. From the get-go, initially, I didn't not know what to do with this one. I really didn't. From the very beginning, the salt grows heavy has a heaviness of language. The language weighs us down for such a short book. And yet, as we continue along, the language choice makes sense. At first, I wonder if I've stumbled upon a pretentious seventh grader who suddenly discovered their online thesaurus. But as we continue onward, it makes sense. And we have to plow through the heaviness of the language because the salt grows heavy. This makes sense. Follow our two main characters, a toothless, menacing wonder, and the plague doctor, our two main characters, as they encounter what becomes their quest. It's gross and exciting. The Salt Grows Heavy is divided into nights. That's how the chapters are called. You follow nights, night 1, night 2, night 3, along with our main characters. And it happens fast. It's though the language is heavy, the plot is swift. And read all the way through to the epilogue. All the way through to the epilogue. That's important. Magic and violence. That's the story. And at the beginning, I thought, maybe I'm not going to like this. But in the end, I really did. I really did like it. So here are a few short reads, some short quotes for you to enjoy from The Salt Grows Heavy to give you an idea of the language. And this is not a long book. It's not going to take you a really long time to read. I'm really glad I borrowed it from the library on my Kindle Paperwhite so that I could look up words while I was reading it, because the vocabulary is decorative. It's a very indulgent, very swirling vocabulary. So this passage goes out to a buddy of mine for whom we both enjoy the word susurrus. Susurrus? Susurration. Two more voices follow in chorus, each a sliver of an octave higher than the last, each a beat slower, a susurrant madrigal like some deathbed hallucination. Susurrant? Susurrant madrigal? I still like the word. 3 men emerge from the throng wearing matching hats, with matching gaits and wool-lined capes rippling behind. Even their masks, bauta with ornate trims, heavy and indelibly masculine, are identical, down to the filigree beards. Bone overlaid with porcelain, seamed with gold and drips of ice-washed ruby, a tasseling of diamonds to accent the sharpness of their jaws. Antlers for one, curling horns for the other 2. This quick read goes out to William the Bloody, Spike, and James Marsters. The boy grins, effulgent. He prances forward, never once looking behind, already confident that where he marches, others must follow. We exchange another look, the plague doctor and I. With a slanting of their hand, they gesture me closer. They gesture me closer. Close enough to mantle me with furs scavenged from our little quarters, squirrel skins, rabbit hides, delicate as eyelashes. The ritualism of my dressing, the attention they invest in the act, every motion elegiac. Damn it. I was close, elegiac.
Well, at least it's showbiz.
The ritualism of my dressing, the attention they invest in the act, every motion elegiac, elegant. It proposes the presence of an unconsummated tenderness, something more profound than camaraderie. This is what I'm talking about. As some of you know, the past 3 years I've been on a journey from healing from neurological injury, which was very, very frightening for me. I previously performed at a very high academic level. I'm going to list here some of the languages that I have either mastered at the master's level and required to perform at a certain level of competency, at least a language that I have taught trigonometry in, a language I have a degree in, and languages that I've also studied and used either as a nonprofit worker in another country or a volunteer worker in colonias in the United States or as a student in my academic career. It was very scary, and continued recovery from neurological injury can sometimes also be frightening. Have I truly never heard this word spoken aloud and I've only read it? Or has a part of my brain forgotten it from the injury or just from the passing of years? It's hard to tell. That's one of the challenges for me of The Salt Grows Heavy, but I've also enjoyed the playfulness and the richness of the language in contrast to the starkness and roughness, and because there are children in this story and children are swirled up in the violence, in a trigger warning, there are children and involved in the violence here, both receivers and givers of violence, if that's a strange way to put it. The clumsy starkness of the violence paired with the rich, almost too many layers of language, like a cake that has too many layers of frosting where you're not quite getting enough cake. It's almost all frosting. It's a very interesting choice, and I really like it. I mean, I think it's a very clever and fun artistic choice with the language, and there are a lot of words in here that either were removed from my brain through neurological injury or have faded in the sands of time, or perhaps I have never actually heard them spoken aloud before. There will be a lot of those, and I enjoyed it in large part because I was able to read through my Kindle Paperwhite in my little case that makes me feel like I'm a monk with its clasp. Here's another reading. It is a strange feeling to hold, my courage sieving between my fingers. I was not afraid when my prince dragged me from the ocean, or when he made my sisters into trophies, their bones shucked and swapped for steel rods, their arteries flushed with formaldehyde. But I am frightened now. In the absence of my plague doctor is a mouth in the nadir of my belly, eating its way through the womb's wolf light up to the uncaring sky. Eating its way through the womb's wolf light up to the uncaring sky. From the east, the south, more voices, an entire vocabulary of predator noises braided into conversation. That I'd held in captivity, held like a vow, a curse, a blasphemy, a wish for better things, combusts. I recall once there was an astronomer in my husband's court who extolled the poetry of the universe. How numinous we were, despite the mucus and the blood we shed. Stardust, he'd said, inebriated with his own doctrine. We are made of stardust, or maybe of primordial elements, such as the ocean and the dark and the killing flame and love. Perhaps my kind are conduits, our shape defined not by parentage, but by the things to which we yoked our belief. Perhaps we are as any myths are, protean, impossible, exactly what we need to be. Whatever the case, I burn them all for what they've done. Last bit of reading I'll share with you from The Salt Grows Heavy. I blink ghosts, 1,000 flickering instances of the girl darting between the tree line from my vision. I wonder if these hallucinations had plagued the surgeons too, if the taking of an organ is indistinguishable from its consumption. And if so, did the surgeons suffer, or did they employ these delusions as sommeliers, curating a menu of experiences, each scintilla of sensation arranged to magnify the next? The powerful have always made meals of the small. I lick a film of gore from my teeth. The blizzard moans. That is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, Cassandra. And if you are chugging along on the Trans Rights Readathon Storygraph challenges, like myself, I'm continuing on with the hope of achieving all the challenges on Storygraph by the end of the year. I've read quite a few books thus far, and I'm less than 2 months in. This will achieve a number of the challenges for you. It will achieve the non-binary main character for you, non-binary or gender fluid main character, Asian author, horror story, and there might be a few others. This one is not going to hit the trans masc or trans femme categories for you, I don't believe. And it's not going to hit the neo-pronouns category for you. But there are quite a few others that this could fit into one of those slots if that's something that you're hoping to achieve with me on Storygraph. Come follow along with me on Storygraph. You can find me at LowZiv, and check out The Salt Grows Heavy from your local library, but know yourself. Know if you need to read it in the daytime, or if you would prefer to read it at night. Yeah. Yep.
My heart expands. There's grown a bulge in it. Inspired by your beauty. Effulgent.
effulgent.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was for Cecily. All right, this next one's called The Wanton Folly of Mimo.